Hello everyone! Welcome to the Mania 7K World Cup 2025 edition here in the round of 32, wherein you'll be seeing a match between the Philippines and Lithuania. I'm Silvers Kyles, and joining me on the commentary booth is none other than Surf285. Hello there, how are you doing today?
Well, third match of the weekend, and already seen some amazing scores, and I'm feeling good about it.
Well, I hope that all the players are feeling good about it as well, as Arquinol Virus rolls a 98. That's a really difficult roll to
Yeah,
beat,
that's a really bad.
especially True Dash 24 also rolls 6-7, which isn't a bad roll. It's a pretty high one, and that could win you a lot already. But still, 98 is very high. So let's
Well,
see.
indeed. Well, anyways, by virtue of winning the rolls, they will be having the advantage of having the first protect. And honestly, with a matchup where the seeding isn't exactly close. Usually it's a higher seeded team that has like the advantage of just being able to do anything that they want in this stage. And maybe and there you go, they are protecting LN1. Like they just have the room to do everything.
I guess so. But like, I still want to analyze this on a tactical manner. So if I were Lithuania, honestly, I'm not. I at least with how the lineup works, I think high score is their best protect. Rise 3 probably that's their best protect, especially with how the lineup of the Philippines works. In my opinion, high score is their best bet, at least compared to everything else. Because I don't think protecting LN and protecting hybrids are a good decision for a lower seeded team in general.
And there you go, as you mentioned. Like at least especially for the core jack pick, like it's a particularly high scoring chart. It's a high scoring map. You're gonna expect something special really, and whenever it's high scoring, whenever it's a high scoring map, like you have the opportunity to be able to keep up with practically everyone. I mean, given that you're able to nail your scores, and we're seeing No Short Sakuretsu Girl being banned here by Lithuania. I'm not surprised because we've seen the Philippines pull off amazing scores on core stream charts in past editions of the World Cup.
Okay, overall though, I think Vanguard could have been a better band. Because the thing is, well, I do agree with your point. Again, just the mindset of lower seeded teams tend to do slightly better on more straightforward charts. And I think Vanguard 3 was a definition of a technical chart. I mean, it's a 2L chart.
Well,
So, okay. What?
now it's bad.
I honestly
Well,
think I honestly think it's I don't know. I think they could have banned. Honestly, at this point, anything really goes for the Philippines. But
anything goes, I would think.
I do wanna say though, when you were talking about high score, it's a high scoring chart. I was gonna
Yeah.
say, imagine you name us. It's literally named high score. If you get a low score on that, is it really does it really still fit the title of high score?
I mean, it would be a problem if you don't get a high score on high score. I mean,
Exactly.
we've already seen a lot of nutty stuff that happened, like just a few hours ago on high score in particular. But anyways, strategy wise, first pick again, you're the higher seeded team. You basically have the entire pool at your disposal, and they are going to be picking the speed pick of the pool. And I am not gonna try to pronounce the title.
Okay. When I was reading it, it reminds me of a certain football player. When I was reading it on my head. I don't think you'll get it. Maybe you will. The last two syllables reminds me of a certain football player. Anyways, speed picks. I understand why the Philippines would choose this. What I don't understand though is I was expecting Kura to be here, though considering it's round of 32, I think what the Philippines is trying to do is trying to get Shadowkun used to this environment. It is the World Cup after all, and I think it's very important to have that.
It is their World Cup debut performance. All set. On the very first start of this matchup, Lithuania will be having True Dash 24 and Paulus Gaming on their side. Shadowkun will be carrying Hidden. To those unfamiliar with Hidden in Osimania, Hidden is a lane cover mod where it will be increasing in coverage as you reach higher combos, but it does not have any score multipliers. There are no score multipliers, mostly because Hidden is a visual aid for some players in particular. Though we see Shadowkun having the roughest start of the 4 players we have in the on stream right now.
It's actually interesting because Shadowkun does find an early miss, like what you mentioned. However, what I'm really excited for is when the speed part actually comes into place. That's where the real deal breaker is.
Yeah, and we're about to hit that part of the chart. Time to see how everyone is going to negotiate. Shadowkun has recovered to a 99% going into this calm section. And honestly, like with the hidden mod, like personally speaking, I hate these kinds of sections. In right smack dab in the middle of the chart. Whenever I have hidden up.
Hidden can really affect your accuracy. Props to Lithuania because Lithuania's accuracy is extremely consistent. But now, once we approach the speed section, it's going to start to be really messy if you're not careful.
Alright, Lithuania is hovering around the 10,000 score level, slowly decreasing, but they are doing just enough to keep their score lead up. Paulus Gaming finding 2 consecutive misses, and that is going to be putting the lead to Team Philippines 2-24. Also dropping their combo, and it's a pretty sizable accuracy drop as well, almost dropping below 99% by way of that miss, just surviving with a mid 99.0. But those 2 misses at the very end will be sealing this one for Team TH.
That is indeed it. That was a massive lead change. Very, very rarely do we see a lead change that big. Like going from 7,000 Lithuania to 50,000 Philippines. That is a massive difference. It goes to show how bad of a mystery that was from Lithuania in general.
Indeed. And Shadowkun only getting 1 miss overall. 16-200s. Very nice recovery from the beginning there from our debutant. Meanwhile, True-24 and Paulus Gaming carrying very, very good scores overall. Just like needs to limit a few misses. Paulus Gaming even getting one, I think the second best ratio overall.
Indeed. It's actually interesting because Lithuania's ratios, they look very strong. At least if you were to average it out. However, yeah, those misses, the misread was just way too much. Consistency is super important, and that's exactly what led the Philippines there.
Okay, so now it's going to be it's going to be Team Lithuania's turn to select whatever they want, and they are immediately going for their protect, which is honestly their best pick to make.
Well, Lithuania has no choice but to get the high score here if they want to win.
I know that there will be a lot of high score puns that are going to be made in this pick in particular. So please bear with us. Also, this music takes me back, what, almost a decade back?
Oh, but like, it's, I don't know, I call this the stereotypical gamer music.
Like I could still see the 1-2-1-2 jumps from that one standard map from so long ago.
I forgot who had this as an intro, but this was a common intro song. You know, funny you mentioned a decade ago, because this was made in 2014, or released in 2014.
Yeah.
So it is indeed around there.
Also, just a fun fact. Currently, the highest score on this chart for this weekend belongs to Britannic with 999,000 point. I mean, 999,488 points, if I'm not mistaken. And what, 19 gold 300s? I hope I remember the MP link. I hope I remember what the MP link showed me a few hours ago. And it's going to be one tough task to upscore that.
Okay, so the high score, let's see. The high score in this chart. Where is this? I tried to look at where the high score is, but apparently I saw someone in the chat mention it was 999488. Thank you so much to who checked that.
Yeah, there you go. Well, anyways, here we go with high score. No roster changes coming into this chart.
So like, what makes this chart really difficult? I have to say this, okay? Putting on hidden on a core jack chart, especially with the chart that's not as physical as this, is a big risk in my opinion. I can understand that reading can really be a factor, but honestly speaking, when you have such little room for error, I have a feeling Shadowkun could be putting themselves in a disadvantage just from this alone.
Well, it depends if they could carry that accuracy, even with the hidden mod through Dash 20 for finding the first drop, which even with the disadvantage, accuracy disadvantage, Team Philippines will be carrying a pretty slight lead, but any miss coming from their side will throw the lead back to Team Lithuania. That is if they could also limit their mistakes. Through Dash 20 for finding a drop a few moments earlier, and that is practically the reason why the lead is opened up to around 10,000 points.
Look at Shadowkun right now though, like, I'm starting to get really concerned. Because looking at the UR, while it is pretty even right now, there's a lot of parts in this core jack that can really make you misread anything. And that's why I think this is such an interesting but a risky decision for Shadowkun to turn on hidden, as lead is slowly starting to decrease. I'm gonna assume it's gonna start to get a bit more dense as time passes on.
Yeah, the jacks become a bit denser in the final quarter of the chart, and the lead is already reduced to around 8,000 points. Team Philippines cannot avoid any misses here, especially from Arkwin here, who has been carrying the accuracy load for Team PH. 2-24 has stabilized from the earlier drops, and that is basically the reason why Team Lithuania has been clawing back in the lead, but Paulus Gaming finding a drop is not going to be helping their cause.
That was their golden opportunity, but the Philippines consistency and Paulus Gaming missing it back and seals the deal. True Dash as well. They had I don't know, you can do the math maybe, but I think average-wise, Lithuania had it.
Yeah,
they had it.
Better accuracy.
They had it. They had it, but do you notice, even with all that, they couldn't match the score of Shadowkun right there. And that's a bad sign, because that means the consistency outweighs the accuracy advantage that they have. Their disadvantage on consistency is really what's holding Lithuania back, because they really have that they really have that potential.
Well, I mean, that's what misses that's the effect of misses in a particularly high scoring chart.
So I'd say Arkwin performed a really good job. Had that score been lower, let's say like a 980k, I would have been really scared, because Lithuania really almost had it. Very good job to Arkwin for having that amazing score, and as well to Shadowkun because that consistency was badly needed.
Yeah, indeed. Like, nice recovery from the rough accuracy at the very beginning. Though Shadowka needs to work on that consistency, really, like being able to already get high accuracy at the very beginning, especially going into this chart in particular, where, let's just say, Ellen Inverse isn't exactly the best, um, isn't exactly the best chart to have a rough start on. Also, someone pointed this out. Shadows and Shadowkun is playing. How fitting.
Well, Shadowkun has got to have the high score this time, hopefully. But we'll see. You know what? Now that you thought, now that we see, now I see where I see where the difficulty name comes from. By the way, that is indeed what it is.
Yeah, it's an inverse pick. You read the negative space in this chart. Like everything about this map set is just so fitting. The first full Ellen inverse pick of the Oceania World Cup this year, and True Dash and Ketif coming in for Paulus Gaming for this chart. And that is a really rough start already from them. Look at the score advantage.
I find it interesting how I'm seeing Ketif? Is that how you read it? Okay.
I think we have to read it as Ketif, because if we see Ketif PH, it would sound a bit, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll see Ketif here. So what I find interesting a while ago was I see them releasing a little bit too early. Shadowkun and Sani being able to hold on to LNs this much, especially with Inverse. I'm not surprised because these two, I know Sani originated from Odujam. I think Shadowkun did as well. I could be wrong though. But True Dash 24 and Ketif are getting to higher accuracy, which is a good sign.
Oh, that's a pretty rough section from them. Like the sort of 6K plus 1 section here, not exactly helping them right now. And now here we go with the full LN. Well, almost a full LN, I mean.
Yeah, and a lot of misses are happening on the Lithuanian side. Accuracy isn't too bad, at least from how I observe, but if they cannot keep that consistency, it's going to be a big problem. Especially on the later matches, because when round of 16 hits, more complex LNs are going to come into place.
Might as well give a shout for Team PH here for getting a double full combo in this chart. And Sani showing their prowess, LN prowess here right now, 991,000.
Look at that ratio from Dash 24. It's actually slightly better than Shadowkun's, and Ketif isn't too far off. But if they cannot keep that consistency, nor can they keep that ratio, won't really mean that much.
Now it's time for Lithuania to do their second pick of the match and maybe try to stop the bleeding. So only one rice chart remaining. There's still all of the hybrids remaining. I don't think Switcheroo is their best bet though.
Well, I think it is, unfortunately, because like I can understand why they'd go for Switcheroo, because at the end of the day, if seems like Rice is like the one thing they can pick. I think it's Switcheroo actually, because of that ACK advantage.
Maybe, but they are going for the hybrids with Crash Landing Rendezvous, the almost tiebreaker, arguably the hardest chart in the pool. Well, now thinking about it though, I don't think this is the best hybrid for them to pick. Unless if for some reason they are trying to attack Shadowkun here.
I actually think that's what they're going for. I really think that's what they're going for here.
Mhm. Well, it really depends now on whether TPH has a good reply to this pick in particular. There is one player in their team that hasn't shown up in this match just yet. Paulus Gaming is going to be coming in for True Dash. So this is a different duo we'll be having.
Yeah, I could see what they're trying to do here. But I still think it should have been Rice 5.
Maybe, but hindsight is going to be 2020, I would think. When we get to the end of this chart. Alright, here we go. With chart number 4 of this matchup, Team Philippines is going to be bidding for match point. Lithuania, on the other hand, will be trying to stop the bleeding and get their first point. And hopefully deny a sweep happening in this matchup. And I think this is what I mentioned earlier. I think this pick in particular is going to be trying to attack Shadowkun as they get the first miss on that speed up section. But the lead is not that big. Ketef actually finding a miss. And that's advantage PH.
Lithuania has enjoyed leads of short bursts. And I think they're about to, because Sani and Shadowkun find 2 misses back to back. That's gonna be huge
miss
for
there. Uncharacteristic miss there coming from Sani. But Kete finding a drop is keeping the lead small from the side. Team PH actually finding a glimpse of that advantage. But this is still really close. No, Paulus Gaming. No, that is unfortunate.
Oh, but Shadowkun finds a drop. This pick is really close. Now that you mentioned, I can see why Lithuania now chose this. Looks like it wasn't that bad of a pick after all.
Indeed. And the consecutive misses here coming from Shadowkun is just going to help Lithuania garner a few more points. They need to limit the misses from their end though, because they're not exactly garnering enough combo to hit the 400 combo cap. Like, they have to be consistent. Like right now, Sunny's combo is the reason why Team PH has a very slight lead, around 3,000 points.
That is going to be just 3,000, like what you said. But if I were to look at this in the bigger lens, it's very concerning because the accuracy of Philippines isn't that far ahead, if we could even call that ahead.
I think halfway. I think like Lithuania overall has the better accuracy right now. Kete finding a drop. Shadowkun trades it, but trades favor the team in the lead. Paulus Gaming finding 3 consecutive misses though. That was their biggest combo as well. Not exactly a good sign, and there's still quarter of the chart remaining. Like, if you think about it, I think they are still well within striking distance, but consecutive misses here coming from Ketef is not going to be helping them. And I think Team PH will be scoring match point.
You know,
the lead is just increasing.
That's true. There's just a pattern I'm seeing here. Lithuania gets like a slight glimmer of hope, but once they lose that, the lead just goes to the Philippines by a big amount.
Yeah, Sani with an amazing recovery there. Like, that is a really good performance there coming from Sani. Well, the Philippines getting match point, and it's going to be their pick as well. Also, shout out to Paulus Gaming here for getting the second best score in the entire room here. So now, if you're Team PH, what are you going to be picking?
Just go with LS at this point. Especially with how everything went a while ago. I don't think Rice is worth the risk, nor is any of the hybrids. You gotta go for an Ellen at this point.
Both Ellen picks are pretty much favorable for Team PH here. We have White Tigers, also have Ellen 3. I think any of the two work. Really depends on how Team PH is going to be approaching this one.
Yeah, I think it's just Ellen. I would guess Ellen 2 Ellen. I think it's Ellen 2 actually.
Ellen, I guess just looking at the history of the teams, I feel like LN2 TPH is the team that would tend to pick LN2 over LN3 just based on song choice at this point. And I presume Korra, or their current username right now, Oji-san, is going to be playing for PH for this map in particular. Though they're not showing up on screen right now. We go. Well, True Dash is in TPH right now. Just some switcheroos happening right now. Okay, there you go. Korra, the current #1 PH player on 7K.
Let me double check. Because, like, let's see. Yeah, he's still there. I haven't been seeing Korra farm a lot recently, so I wasn't really sure.
Anyways, Team PH should, on paper, get the point here. And anyways, while we're okay, there you go. I think they should be starting a few moments from now.
Right, here we go. This is a pretty short chart, only 1 minute and 52 seconds.
Yeah, lots of short picks in this pool. Like just averaging just a bit over 2 minutes. Oji-san finding the miss on the very first note, I think.
Could be, but if that's the case, it's not going to give too much of an advantage just because of the accuracy advantage already at the start.
Indeed, it's like super early in the turn. It won't really matter. If Oji-san is able to maintain the combo, it's practically full combo just on the first go. Paulus Gaming finding the first drop from the Lithuanian side of our screen here.
That's going to be a massive problem because now that Oji-san is increasing that accuracy relatively. Oh come on!
Oh,
seriously?
Come on! Good job.
Okay, but on a more serious note, okay, accuracy is actually virtually tied, if not No, it's virtually tied. Just because Polish
It's
game is
virtually.
already down
Actually,
to...
look at Ojisan's accuracy rate, like hit distribution. Like it's super early. Like Ojisan is hitting way earlier than they should be, which is helping Lithuania right now.
3,000 points of difference. But that's...
True dash 34 though, finding a miss. Paul is
Oh,
gaming
that's a lot.
as
Here
well.
we go
That's a
again.
full team reset.
Here we go again with the pattern
Yeah.
of Philippines giving an opportunity to Lithuania, but Lithuania fails to capitalize. If not, they actually make it a lot worse than it could.
Well, I'm just taking note here. Oji-san is now hitting a bit later than usual.
Okay, but this
Like,
could
paying
actually...
attention.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah, that
wait,
will be good.
wait. I think that's it. I think
no.
that
Paul is
will
going to be
give
fighting a drop. Oh, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that gives Lithuania the
Well,
point.
that's a first one for Lithuania. Indeed. Well, that is surprising. Well, that is if whatever Oji-san mentioned in the multiplayer chat is indeed what happened.
Interesting. That's actually really surprising. But it could really be a lag issue, which is probably what we saw there.
Yeah. Anyways, Lithuania with a golden opportunity to get a few more points off TPH. Maybe go the distance. But if Lithuania, I think they could go for Rise 5 now. I think this is their best opportunity to do so. Oh wait, what? Why are they picking it? Well, that's surprising. So they're also avoiding Rise 5 right now? Well, this is really surprising. I guess maybe just basing it off LN2, like if Korra is going to be staying despite the issues they're having right now, that would give
Yeah, I think that's what
Lithuania
we're going for.
some form of advantage. Really, they're just going to be attacking it, which I don't blame them for doing it at all. I would have assumed that they would have gone for Rise 5 for this pick in particular though. Well, anyways, while we're waiting for everything to happen, we might as well go chill.
That is true.
Osamania World Cup 7K Osamania 7K World Cup banners are up on the Osu store. We'll give a few more details after this chart ends. I'm still surprised though that they're going for this instead of what I would think is their best possible pick now. But anyways,
Doesn't really matter. They already chose it. I think they're just going
yeah.
for it after seeing what happened to Oji-san. Which is kind of interesting. You notice how, like, at the start, Oji-san was releasing way too early, and then eventually he was releasing way too late. I wonder what could have happened there.
But I Anyways, not the time to dwell on it now because we're about to hit, I think, what I'd say is the second hardest Olympic in this pool. Like, this, the stairs, quote unquote stairs here, are particularly tricky to hit. And the release timing is something that we have to pay attention from every single player that we're seeing here. Paulus Gaming finding the first drop. And Otisan missed that burst going into the section. But despite that, there's still Cora is still holding the best accuracy in the entire room. But the score lead is really close.
It is indeed very close. That consistency, I mean, the fact that Lithuania also had a miss just kind of cancels it out. So really, it's just a game of accuracy here. And while Shadow Kun has a better act than Paulus Gaming, that will definitely be more than enough. Because if we were to compare both sides, like I can already see this accuracy differential being increased as more element parts come into play.
There you go. More of these stair intro, same time release elements. They're not exactly the easiest to execute. But both Filipino players are currently negotiating these patterns well. Actually, Paulus Gaming has recovered a bit from their earlier drops, but is still kind of struggling getting that accuracy up. 2-24 on the other hand, calmly carrying that 99% accuracy, doing better than Shadowcon as it stands. And never mind what I said in terms of combo at least.
Unfortunately though, just because of how massive this advantage is, even if let's say Shadowcon and Oji-san find any drops, very good consistency there, not missing on that pattern. And just here we go. I think that does it though.
Yeah, that will be it for this matchup. Team Philippines will be getting their first win and will be advancing to the round of 16 in the winner's bracket. Oji-san finding a drop at the very end of those Alens.
Doesn't matter though.
Well,
best ratio by a long shot.
Indeed, best ratio.
979k, very impressive work. I honestly think that could have been much higher if those misses didn't happen. But yeah, Lithuania put up a great fight. They were actually pretty, except for that Ellen inverse chart, I think they were pretty consistent. That really helped them a lot in being able to secure this victory. This was a very, very good performance from seed number 30. They clearly have the accuracy to take down any mid-seeded team. Yeah. So I think they have to watch out for whoever is going to be facing Lithuania, that is.
With all of that, Team Philippines has won this match and will be advancing to the round of 16 in the winner's bracket and will be facing the winner of, if I'm not mistaken, the New Zealand-Taiwan match, which is going to be happening tomorrow night. And obviously the loser of that one as well will be the ones facing Lithuania next weekend in the loser's bracket. But anyways, before we go, we mentioned this a few moments before the final chart of the match. Osimania 7K World Cup team support banners are up on the OSU store. You can try to replicate the achievement of one of our friends from the OSU Catch community and made a Star Wars credit scene out of the banners by purchasing like how many banners was that? Like was it? Yeah, you can buy as many as you can as long as you can financially handle it. We personally don't endorse, running your bank account dry just to buy banners. But if you want to, feel free.
Well, I don't really have much to say, so I guess you could already end this for us.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back 2 hours from now at 14 UTC for the matchup between Germany and Estonia. So that's it for us. This is Sergio85 and Selweska Els, and that has been the Philippines versus Lithuania match in the Osimania 7K World Cup 2025 round of 32. We'll see you guys later.